to come in right now. A lot of AD carries left available. Aphelios, since you got those buffs to the attack speed and the lethality you gain when you level up, he is really risen in priority. And they are toying with the idea of just going for this. They did hover the center before, but looks like they will pass on that. And we'll see here. So they have the options. I think taking jungle here is what makes the most sense. And then leave, that third pick for potentially mid, potentially top, or support, depending on what IG takes.
I expected early focus for the jungle picks here, just to get some of that stability, some of that comfort for both these guys. Obviously, the Wukong has been absolute comfort for Shun, at least in this split. JDG actually not going to pick it up just yet. Obviously, still have one more pick in the first phase, but they get the Renata combo with the Aphelios.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Combating some of the dive potential from IG.
So I think we've seen ban a lot left open here, and yeah, very powerful anti-dive. And it makes me wonder what IG are going to do in this situation, because they could just take the center here. They could look to outrange, or they could do that trade-off we see time and time again off the Jinx.
Bring
and
it
it
back.
looks like that might be what they go for. So, Jinx obviously does outrange Aphelios, and if you can use those rockets at a distance, get those resets, can have a lot of value. My question is, what do you take here? Are you set on a support to take in this matchup? Or do you want to take a different role? We've seen Sylas be heavily prioritized. Might end up locking that one in and have a dive buddy for the Wukong.
Having a little bit of flexibility for Wink as well if they want to just get something later on and try to get a real matchup to play around. They do have the Sylas. So able to take some of these beefy ultis from JDG if they do end up drafting some of those big ones. I think the hostile takeover would be interesting to use for the Sylas on side of AIG, but it is Viego. So back to what we were kind of talking about earlier. Obvious focus for both teams is the jungle matchup, and we get the Viego just as in the vein of the Wukong for Shun. It will be comfort for Kanavi.
Yeah, so at this point, JDG have some options. They can look to target top laners or supports. Obviously, I think supports would make more sense when you've already picked up your bot lane. I think 369 should be comfortable in most matchups. And, he could just end up taking the Gnar on 4, in all honesty, for JDG. Gnar being a really strong blind on the current patch. So we'll see if IG actually opt to ban away the Gnar or want to leave it for themselves, because I think that would probably be the strongest move for JDG. And they ban away the Ashe, interesting enough. So we've seen a little bit of the Ashe support. Ashe tends to do well in like lower pressure lanes, which Renata's like good at punishing melee champions. You can stop engages, you can harass, but the Ashe can just trade, right? Use that extra range advantage. So they take that one off the cards. We'll see if they throw another ban towards support pool.
I wonder how they kind of approach that bottom lane, though, I guess, for IG now, because it's obvious what JDG are trying to deny in this first game, but I think it's also obvious what IG are trying to prevent in terms of matchups for the solo lanes to really play around.
Yeah, and we see the Gnar ban from JDG, so that signals that they're going to give 369 counter pick if they're banning that one away. I feel like that would be the big one. If you're going to take top on 4, it's because you're taking Gnar. And now for IG, they ban away the Ahri from Yagao. You could see them ban maybe Azir. I think could make a lot of sense in this situation. But we'll see what else they are concerned about and what they're going to target. Maybe something for 369 could make sense as well. And they actually target the Scion.
All right, I like it. Gonna go ahead and take that one away. Don't want to go with the menacing top lane that 369 has been on the Sylas in the past, but I think that leaves JDG with some very promising picks for their own right. They do get the Taliyah here for Yagao.
Yeah, so good at stopping all these dashes on the side of IG, right? You have the Sylas and the Wukong trying to get up close to your Aphelios, and you'll be able to prevent that. Those not going to be an option. IG toying with a support option here. Lulu could make sense in terms of playing that scaling, leaning into that, but I feel like maybe they want a bit of that engage potential. Nautilus, obviously, our highest prio engaged champion. We'll see what they opt to go for. And they actually end up with a Lulu. So give us some extra scaling to the Jinx. You can also follow up. Like if the Wukong dives in, you can use the wild growth to layer that CC. Not the most pressure in lane, though, but I don't think that's too much of an issue because obviously Jinx will out-trade if Aphelios will be able to get the push. And for the top lane, looks like Zika might just go for that Sejuani. With Gnar off the table, there are definitely picks that can make your life painful like Fiora, but you should be pretty confident in this one.
I don't know. I think anytime you look at 369 with the counter pick, you can get a little bit frightened, but it is the Sejuani. It's to lock into the Gragas, so you'll get some of that playmaking ability from the top lane of JDG. But I think when you look at this, the synergy with the Sejuani does work out nicely for IG. And I think also the fact that they didn't fall into that melee engager trap for the matchup in the bot lane, the 2v2, getting the Lulu, getting a little bit more of that sustain, and a little bit more of the peel potential for a comp like this.
I will say though, I love the Gragas here because I mean I feel like the comp of JDG is so good anti-dive, right?
True.
Aphelios, if you're diving into him, can just shred you with the right guns. The Renata, one of the best anti-dive supports in the game. Taliyah puts you in Ravel Dirt down. Gragas can just body slam and cast anyone who gets close. And so when you look at the composition off IG, full melee top side of the map, right? If they're diving in, very easy for them just to mitigate that, for JDG to create space, create distance. There is that bot lane off the Jinx Lulu. If they can get going, that can be potentially problematic. But I feel like JDG are very comfortable with what they have.
Yeah, and looking at that comfort and looking at JDG's history here, we know they like to go to 3-game series, but in all actuality, a lot of the games we see and a lot of their kickoff games of the series are pretty dominant. I think when you're looking at the drafting that we saw from them, they got a lot of the things they wanted, right? 369 insta-locking the Gragas, knowing exactly where they kind of want to go with that matchup. And for me, I know I put a lot of bias on Shun, but it relies so heavily for IG to get off the ground running for the jungle matchup. And for them to have any success, it's going to be Shun versus Kanavi. As we go into game number 1, we see Summoner's Rift unfold in front of us. The skybox aplenty with beauty and majesty in our second series of the Week 7 LPL Summer Split kicks off now.
And I feel like, honestly, the final pick, Gragas, coming in, I feel like Mole's got to be pretty happy with that one. Because you're like, oh, nice. Another good ultimate for me to steal. Because before that, I feel like you're kind of like, you know, Weaver's Wall has some utility applications. Viego's ult is a bit weak because you don't get the resets. With the Aphelios, it's only really good if you get like the Infernal ultimate. I think has a high AP ratio. It's quite powerful. And obviously the hostile takeover is powerful, but it doesn't really benefit from your AP scalings, right? You know, you have the same ult as Renata, which is grand, but being able to steal the Gragas ult, being able to use those big high damage casts can just add to your burst potential, add to the threat onto the enemy backline.
That's the execution, I guess, and those mechanics that we're kind of alluding to. But I know I put a lot of focus on the jungle matchup. I think we have seen that focus towards Mole, what he's going to bring to the table, how that synergy with Shun is going to kind of line up, especially when you're picking such a synergistic comp, like you were saying, with the full melee top trio. But again, it's trying to pick apart the parts of JDG here, and we didn't get to see a lot of success from the Taliyah in the last series, but I think Yagao, the combo with Kanavi, and all that is going to go a little bit better this time around for the Taliyah.
Yeah, pretty powerful at picking people up, pretty powerful at dealing with the melees. And Yugao's got the Ignite with Spellbook, so when to have that power in the skirmish, obviously you Ignite Mole, have that extra damage, and also the reduction in healing can be quite powerful. So I expect, you know, mid lane to be a bit of a rough point for Mole early. You can see bot, as expected, Jinx will get the shove into the Renata and the Aphelios. And also, when on the Lulu, you play around your Q level 1, and that is your longest range ability that you can just frequently throw out to go for poke to try and harass. You're okay at trading autos, but have to be a bit careful, because if you step too far forward, if you auto missing and then you get autoed by both Hope and missing, you're going to end up losing out now. Kanavi actually managed to get level 3 pretty quick with that full clear on the blue side, whereas we see Shun having only done red and Krugs. And this is one of the things with the Wukong, his clear got nerfed, right? His E no longer does as much damage to monsters. Krugs is also a notoriously slow camp to take, whereas Kanavi, I believe, got a leash as well. So Kanavi giving himself that extra boost to take the advantage in the jungle matchup. So a pretty heads-up play from him.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we do have a pause on the Rift. Even so early, something must have happened. We'll obviously inform everybody as soon as we do get the update with that one. But it's so early. I was so ready to look at the pathing and see how it's all going to work out. And I love that, you know, Shun just kind of tucks his tail between his legs and just like he continues walking. It's like, all right, well, let's see how next time around comes. You know, I'll catch you next time.
Yeah, just ends up walking away, piecing it, and not respecting the fact that he's not really going to want to contest that objective. So, yeah, I give an advantage to the Wukong, which is definitely nice. Definitely something you want to look forward to. And then I think at this point, Kanavi can continue just to apply that pressure. You know, if you put the Wukong behind, he's already a slow clearer. You can path up to the top side, take the top scuttle, and then lean down towards bot as well and try and just get a double scuttle over the Wukong, because obviously he can't walk past you if you're ahead of him if you have that power advantage.
True. We did get an update, just a slight little update for you all. Missing, unfortunately, having an audio issue of some sort. So we'll be working through
I guess
that
you
as
could
quickly
say
as
his
possible.
audio was missing.
I've rubbed off on you too much, Aux. I think.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I
Just-
apologize for the viewers.
Is this what it's like? Do I need to stop? Like
Dude, no, it's the heat.
I
The heat's
gotta
getting to me.
realize.
I have like my lights blasting me, and the
yes.
sun in that direction. I'm just getting melted right now.
You gotta
it's
do
not,
like
not
the
a,
Wizard of Oz. I'm melting.
I feel like that. It's not a good time to exist right now.
To exist, just existing. Hey, but
Bro,
you get to cast the LPL. I feel like it's. I mean,
that's great. That's
it's keeping
great.
you
It's
alive.
just
It's keeping the form. That's how you're staying alive.
yeah, the sun is just not fun. I'm one of those
Isn't that the
people who prefer
opposite of the
cold.
saying though? It's like fun in the sun. Isn't that?
Mazel. No. And that may be the same, but I don't care. The thing is, right, if it's too cold, you can just put more layers on, right?
If it's too hot, you just take. I mean, I know it gets a little bit less PG,
Dude,
but
I'm wearing this light t-shirt and I'm
Okay.
still melting, right?
Oh.
It doesn't, I can't take my skin off.
As somebody who has actually fried an egg, albeit not super successfully, on a sidewalk in Texas, I feel you. I feel you, man. I feel you. It's okay. Though.
Yeah.
You're gonna make it through that because we got hot and spicy gameplay to pair with your hot and spicy weather. And eventually, once we get Missing's audio unmissing at that point, but it's still it's still gonna be a fun one. I am so excited to see kind of how JDG approaches this game, because I think at the beginning we did talk a little bit about the dueling preferences in terms of trajectory for both these two teams, right? We were saying JDG have a lot in terms of things to look forward to. They have a lot of tough competition, but a lot of competition that could solidify their standings in terms of playoffs. And IG, again, Mole now coming in as some reinforcements, still trying to find how Shun works with Mole, and especially a little bit more on this bot lane too, where they finally kind of settled in on and Wink.
I think it's with IG's remaining schedule. They actually have a lot of teams they could reasonably beat, right? IG played JDG today, which we are going to see, but is likely going to be JDG favored. Next series is against WE. Anyone could beat WE, let's be real, with the current standing. Then Ultra Prime, possible, but a bit trickier. RA, possible, not the easiest. RNG, we skip past that one. And then OMG, LGD. I think I could imagine IG picking up a game or two, a series or two from that remaining schedule. So that's something to look out for. Whereas JDG gets a little bit tough. JDG face BLG next, not a problem. Then in week 8, they have V5 and RNG. Tricky, right?
A little bit.
Not exactly the most fun one. And then they go to week 9, which is the last week of play. They don't actually play on week 10. They play against Weibo and AL. And those teams on paper aren't as scary as V5 and RNG. But Weibo just beat V5, sorry. Weibo just beat V5. And AL, they've been doing pretty solidly. So I think JDG, their score may get tarnished a decent amount there. And now,
Okay, right out of the pause. Apparently the audio is no longer missing, and JDG were able to find a gank at least and get the flash out of Wink.
A good play there coming out, able to find that opportunity, able to at least force the summoner spell. It is a trade ultimately, but I think that's the thing when you have the Renata, is like your Q is such a threatening tool to set up. So I hope to see a repeat gank come out and to try and reenact that play and go for a bit more pressure and kill that Lulu with the next time they go for the gank.
See if they can revisit that one again. It's all about where the jungle are focusing, at least with both of them. We do see Shun with a very unique pathing here, going for an invade, but mid lane, Mole's in some trouble. Might have to call his jungler, which he does. And Shun has to delay some of that invading, not going to exactly get what he was coming for so early, but it's the opposite side here for Kanavi as he's looking for the transition play onto Wink.
It actually looks like he's trying to look for the Krugs, but surely you must know that these camps are down, right? Based on where Shun was in his clear when you saw him earlier. Kind of confused about that one, how it panned out in that way. I feel like Kanavi has just gotten a little bit mixed up. Maybe expected the Krugs to be up, but regardless, Shun will now steal away the enemy red. So you see it be pretty painful in return, and actually kind of a smart move for missing there, clumping up the waves. So hope with the Infernum can just burst through them as quick as possible. and also letting the minions instantly aggro onto the tower.
Yeah, they man, with the little cheeky handshake on the way out, dude. Just an extra little send-off gift as they do get their back off here. It's still a little bit of chaos around mid lane. Shun finally backing after having got... Oh, no! The little chicken. The little chicken stopped his back. It's fine. It's not that long. But he did get the red buff from Kanavi, so at least getting a bit of an advantage in terms of that aggressive pathing that we actually got to see a lot of last time these two junglers met. So it's nice to see they're still in their nice personalities here for themselves.
Oh, and Kanavi makes the assumption that the camp has been cleared, but that little chicken still being up does mean it won't be on a respawn timer. Kanavi's going to take this window to start up the dragon. A lot of trading back and forth between these junglers. It's kind of what we expected, you know, maybe not the most aggression in terms of making fights happen, but constantly looking for opportunities to get a camp up on one another. So Kanavi will be the first to bite the bullet and start off that initial objective, which obviously takes a bit more for time investment.
It's a little bit, but it'll be a nice little objective for him as well, and Hope just getting the solo XP in the bottom lane. Look at the reset now from Kanavi as he finally goes back towards his top side. At least I would expect to see how much damage has been done. He'll be nicely surprised, but mid lane, a surprise itself. Yagao getting aggressed on by Mole. Pretty healthy trade from Mole as well.
Yeah, I mean, Mole's starting to apply quite a bit of pressure in this matchup. You know, it's quite scary for Taliyah when you're on this low mana and the wave's not in the best spot. Goes for a trade, but I don't think Mole's really bothered because he can dash in, get a big heal. Ignite actually burned from Yagao. Looks like he's trying to really chunk Mole out here and get some pressure in the lane.
He's got the pressure now.
Oh! Devastating!
That is devastating. And much like what I was talking about, that historical reference to Spring, man, Kanavi just seems to have the upper edge. Comes out with the Scuttle Crab right in front of Shun's face.
And now we're seeing a lot of pressure in this bot lane. This is the thing with the Lulu. You know, as I said, Jinx has that early pressure. Lulu is going to scale well, but not Aphelios can just cause a lot of harm. Big reason why they see these champions together so much. The trading power, the fact that there's so much threat from the handshake from the Renata. And we'll be able to just pick up that play easier than anything.
No, Mole. Oh, he flashes nicely. We'll have to use that summon spell though, so that'll be another potential repeat for Kanavi. But Shun and Mole now on the move. He has Weaver's Wall. He needs to use it. I'm sure the cooldown's coming up very soon.
Yeah, because use this potentially cut off the bot lane. This is risky though. It's a Renata. Obviously, the bailout can do a lot of work. And on top of that, Kanavi's there. This is so scary.
They see that Kanavi's doing the Gromp here. He'll be able to get the heal back. Looks like they want to take the engage as the Gromp gets a little bit lower, but Kanavi's too quick. He's too
fast
quick.
Reactions. Gets the Gromp as well. You know, so perfect play for Kanavi there to mitigate that. Obviously, does lose the flash, but considering the amount of time invested, the cannon lost for Mole, and they don't really get much from it in the end.
Unfortunately not. Hey, at least Mole was able to use the ability. Meanwhile, bot lane, a little bit of aggression, cheeky push play coming through here for IG. Just looking for every advantage they can get to that extent. But it's the early focus, at least for JDG right now, that they've gotten the neutral objective. They've gotten a little bit of pace of play for Kanavi around the map as well. And you have Rift Herald right on the money here for Kanavi.
Yeah, and if he's able to secure this one, will be a good way to snowball the game. Shun just nowhere near at the time. Only just hit this level 6. You do see pings actually coming out. Looks like they might move over to contest, but I don't think you have time. I don't think you're in a position to. I think this is going to be gone. So nice window from Kanavi found there to capitalize on this objective.
It'll be a quick little pickup there. And now they're going to move top lane as well. They have the Weaver's Wall, and Zika, he gets womboed, has to flash over. Luckily gets out of that seismic shove at the end, but it will be a close one.
Yeah, it looks like just a little bit of a crazy rebound there. He went for the dash, and 369 was trying to interrupt it, but just bounces him literally into the wall. So they get a flash in the end, so it's a positive play in that regard. Obviously, we're hoping to try and get a kill off the back of that one.
At least trying to some extent, but not able to find it that time around. I think that the seismic shoves have been really interesting. It's also been really interesting to me to see how little damage we're seeing. Obviously, Taliyah's do so far today, but we haven't gotten to the point where Taliyah is just destroying people, right? Because we haven't made it to those big scaling moments. I think JDG are rocking just fine early on, even if we haven't gotten a kill yet. It's still about the map pressure. It's about those small leads that they've been been able to develop, and also looking at where Kanavi's going to use this Rift Herald, where those resources are going to go. Now he's again fighting with Shun in the jungle. 369 Yagao, they're here
Shun
first. Might be in some trouble. He's trying to get the reset on the red, and it's actually, interestingly enough, IG who move in with the reinforcements.
Yeah, so very aggressive play that as we're seeing. And now, oh, Hope is just stepping up.
There we go. That's what the aggression looks like. You got the Moonlight Vigil and everything used.
Yeah, pretty heavy trade, but IG bot lane ultimately going to be fine. And we're still 0 kills for 10 minutes, but there's been so much back and forth, so much trading. I love that the junglers have been finding these windows, these opportunities to pressure. Now, it's 30 seconds until the next dragon. IG, I feel like it would be pretty painful to let this one go over. But given that the bot lane have been chunked out a bit and that Shun is on the top side, I don't think you're really in a position right this second to contest. Maybe JDG move over, but it is Yagao low on mana. That could be an issue as well. We'll see what happens. Things are coming out from the side of IG. If you give over to the JDG this early, it could be problematic.
So I want to ask, though, when we were talking about this top trio, right, and all the melee, the synergy with the Sejuani, you would expect some more skirmishing and a little bit more presence, right? You're trying to get this trio together because that's where the synergy really comes down. Are you okay with, IG trying to scale up and do it with that trio, or do you want to see, pick up a play here?
I feel like it's not even that they're just sitting and trying to outscale. It's just the fact that, like, it's hard for them to find windows, Like, they have tried to go for those aggressive plays on a Kanavi. He flashed away. Yeah, JDG is a very, 369 is a very hard target to punish because he's a Gragas, mitigates all those melees, can disrupt them. And Taliyah offers so much pressure in the mid lane. I feel like that's been the main problem, is that JDG have tools to stop these melees from running rampant. If you get locked into melee range with, Wukong, Sejuani, Sylas, then obviously you're going to go down. But JDG have been smart in not giving those windows. And now, Dragon going to be started up. 5 members are coming down. You can see both top laners moving over. This is going to be a big contest.
Yeah, they have Weaver's Wall to join as well if they want to cut off and make something happen. Moonlight Vigil is just now coming off cooldown here very shortly. Dragon already very low, missing, going in, hostile takeover onto 3 members, but they can't find the follow-up. The cast goes in, 369 with the flash, the kill, first blood for JDG, and here comes the storm as JDG move it. They take the dragon, and IG have to retreat.
Really nice play coming out. The hostile takeover getting so much value there. Then 369 sees Shun, takes him out, and as a result secures the dragon. And now JDG have a lead. They also have that herald in hand, and they have 2 dragons in pocket. This is a really rough spot for IG to be in, and Kanavi waste no time. Enemy jungler is off the map for a bit. Take this window to try and pressure this tower. Oh, just misses.
Hope trying to find the engage there with the Moonlight Vigil, but won't do it. A couple more plates will go down, and this is what I love to see about JDG is they just know when to pull the trigger. And also here, just the little innovations we've seen over time with the Renata and seeing missing, pulling it out.
Yeah, going for the R flash to... Because that's the thing, is the ult is very slow, but by R flashing, you closing that gap quickly. Arn has to cleanse the fear of killing his jungler. But importantly, because Shun was the one who started the dragon, he was low HP, he was chunked out, allowed them to capitalize on that window and take that advantage. And now, Herald has been used bot, the tower is very low, and JDG are looking at a 2,000 gold lead. Everything going really as they wanted to in this game so far.
Yeah, and I would say they're perfectly fine in the position they find themselves in. Oh! For 1 second, Kanavi had taken the Kim Punk chainsword, but it immediately changes it out for the Divine Thunder there. Maybe that was just a graphical glitch, who knows. But look,
I think the thing is like, Kim Punk is great when you finish it. Fantastic item, really cheap spike. But if you can finish a whole Sundra, then,
might as
you just
well,
finished
right?
the whole Sundra. Yeah, you might as well. Something to note is we are seeing the tank Gragas build. It's kind of expected when he goes Grasp and not the alternative. He's been getting a lot of Grasp procs onto the Sejuani. But we've often seen this like Night Harvester Archangels build. I should just be able to walk this one out, yeah. But we're seeing this tankier Gragas, so gonna be able to stay in those fights for longer, not just get bursted out by the melee frontliners off IG. And now JDG are investing resources to get this tower. And IG are making the mistake of moving their members down. You can look on the map, they're moving over.
I'll take over a little bit wide. He gets a couple auto attacks from Kanavi. Just give him a nice warm welcome.
I mean, at least they stopped the plate going, I guess. But this tower's going down regardless. And by moving down towards this side of the map, JDG just ensured they're not doing anything else, And now, JDG are going to be able to reset off the back of this. and move towards the Herald that's spawning now. Shit, IG are moving over the second. They don't have numbers there. So I think IG, in trying to stop JDG's play, they just end up, you know, doing nothing as a result. They don't change the outcome. They don't change the fate of the game. I
see your analysis, and I raise you mind control. We'll see if JDG just find ways to make IG second guess themselves. I mean, they do get the scuttle crab, they do have the movement up towards top, but we're getting the resets coming now. And I would wonder how quickly JDG are willing to set up around this Rift Herald now that they've moved Hope and Missing to mid lane because of the advantage they had gotten early.
Yeah, I think it's scary for IG to look to contest this one. You know, you've got Mythic coming in for 369. The resets are already there. You see that Arna's picked up his Mythic and Zika his now, but they've just come back from base and 369. Oh, look at this angle. This is great.
Over the wall and over the moon are JDG. Wink goes down.
Kind of greedy from Wink. Obviously, didn't really, you know, staying so far up for the wave. And JDG finding a fantastic angle. That's just, I mean, it's going to secure them the Herald. There's no way IG contest this one. And they're all grouped mid. So what can they do? They're going to try and push mid. But JDG, because they know they've got the Herald, they can send numbers to defend. Gragas a fantastic wave clear. So IG once more get nothing.
Still struggling to find their way in now, as we've seen so much control going over to JDG, and we were talking so much about the, you know, the composition for IG and how they'll pilot it, how they'll execute it. But at this point, we haven't seen really the trio come together at all. We haven't seen any of the team fights really going their way, and in the sparing team fights that we've had, and Ana is still very far away from being any kind of damage source.
Yeah, still needs a lot of time, and we'll get a replay of this. But this was just really nice from 369 coming over the wall. Manages to combo it, so doesn't get any chance to react. The body slam hits, the cast hits, you are knocked back and essentially instantly dead and taken out.
That 30 gold, definitely. You know, I feel you. I feel you, Wink. You're hungry. You want some gold.
Oh, here's a repeat.
Yeah, I was gonna say 369 is hungry too.
But might actually be caught out of position here.
Yeah, they're going to close in on him. He's going to go over the wall. Okay, he's over, but Mole can follow with the Abscond Abduct. The Glacial Prison flashed out of, and here comes the rest of JDG on the flank. They are completely caught here as Shun tries to go in, but that's the hostile takeover. The Moonlight Vigil. Auto attack not able to go through just yet, and he does get it in the end. He was invisible, but not for long. Mole caught out on the side, goes over the wall with his flash, but JDG move in, move out, and IG again lose the fight.
IG think they have found their pick, but the Gragas too tanky. With the body slam over the wall and the flash, able to create space, and JDG instantly retaliate. Missing being so fantastic with the ultimates here. And what I will say is Hope did get a little bit lucky with that crit on the end to take out. Oh, looking for more.
The flash is the handshake. Wink, he's taking so much damage. Oh, feels bad, man. That's 3 dragons. That's Rift Herald mid lane. That's an avalanche in favor of JDG.
Yeah, they are just cleaning up in terms of the gold. Securing that mid tower massive in terms of being able to get advantages on the map. And the charge comes through as well. Devastating for the side of IG. Big goal lead, 3 dragon lead, everything going in favor of JDG. And we see the repeat. So try to find 369, but they're not close enough. You know, they try and stack passive, but the flash, great to dodge away from the ult. And then look at this on the other side. Yeah, not bad.
I like the observers zoom in on the cat.
They get Renata slamming Shun through the Unraveled Earth, and here Hope ends up getting the crit to finish. Just enough damage to take out Shun. Jungler dead means dragon secured. It's a 4,000 gold lead, but the 3 dragons to 0, very scary. You already have a composition that wants to play defensive against dives, right? You have the Wukong and the Sylas on IG who want to get on top of Hope. You give him an extra big shield, right? It just makes it so much more difficult, so much harder. And I think IG need to do some soul searching in these next 3 minutes and try and find an answer.
Yeah, if not, the soul searching is going to come to them because JDG is going to be searching for the dragon soul. And
JDG will find their souls,
yeah. 22, like just after 22 minutes is when we'll be looking at soul, and then you can think of, you know, 5 minutes later we'll have the Elder Dragon on the Rift. And that's where JDG is literally into the game with the decision makings that we've seen them be able to accomplish here. They have had so much pressure, but it's not for a lack of trying from IG. And that's what I was saying earlier in trying to figure out how do they approach this, because they are trying to find things, even with a little bit of the overextensions. But then you get in a position like this, and Zika, unfortunately, caught out. They do find on the side the Hope. He's in some trouble. He flashes away. And now the turnaround, the Moonlight Vigil, the healing there. A hostile takeover is not going to mean much. Missing, getting bailed out here. They can't get the kill. Mole is going for kills. And Hope on the side. He's got red-white. Shun goes back in. And Shun dies. That's a double kill for Mole, though, on the other side. Resets coming through from Kanavi. He's flashing. He's heartbreaking. And the last hope for IG goes down. Wink. Gonna give you a nice little chinky one on the way out.
Yeah, it looked like Hope was caught out, but he decided to turn it around and just dash into IG, dismantle them, and you see the gold difference doing a lot of work there. On the back of that, JDG should be able to take this mid tier 2, get some extra gold in the pocket, and we're gonna see items being completed coming out. Hope should have his Bloodthirster plus some extras finished, but we're gonna replay. So yeah, initial pick 369 is like, look, you handle Sejuani, I have the tower. And then we see this on the side. Hope initially caught out, backs away and creates space, so they focus onto missing. But then watch this. Hope decides, you know what? I am ready to fight. I have my chakrams up. Just dashes onto On and just absolutely shreds through him. And then plays so well with his health bar. Gets the damage in, but doesn't step up too much. We see Shun go in, and the heal actually baits him into that engage because it does keep Hope healthy enough to turn it around.
And I will say, you know, there's one lesson I've learned of these last little, you know, I guess long while at this point when we're watching Aphelios is you see the colors red, white under his health bar, probably not a good idea to fight. And I think the healing, the damage from those stacked up chakrams, it's definitely something IG are going to want to look back on when they look into taking that fight because it is very devastating. And JDG, even with a very chaotic split apart fight, they somehow pilot it out. I mean, I know they lose a couple, right, and Mole gets on the board, but I don't think that that's an extent that really matters to this point, right? They're like 7,000 gold in the lead.
The gold lead's massive. We have 50 seconds until the dragon. We have 2 item spikes coming in from Yagao, from Kanavi. We have the Bloodthirster for Hope. So not only is he dishing out a ton of damage, he's basically a bruiser now. That's the thing with Bloodthirster on Aphelios. Maybe not at this point. Maybe it takes a bit more to get going. But he's just so much harder to kill because every time he connects with you, he's going to get a ton of damage, a ton of healing, and just makes him a harder target with that shield on top. If they get the Mountain Soul, I think it becomes nigh on impossible. And IG knows. So they're posturing. They're looking for an angle. 369 hovering on the flank. And realistically, IG need to find a solution to the problem that is Hope.
I don't know if they can. 369 goes right back to the rest of the team. The flash comes through. The cast comes out. Kanavi is buying time on the side. The health bars from IG are getting oh so low, and they haven't even gotten into the main chunk of JDG. Hope is on a rampage at this point. 5 kills for the Aphelios.
And no one can approach him. You know, IG get chunked out. They do find some damage on the 369 and Kanavi. But those champions are both so tanky right now. And they're trying to approach here, but they just won't even get close. And JDG securing the soul at 22.5 minutes. Devastating blow to IG's chances in this game.
And I love the theme, the devastation that JDG have shown. This is something we talked about coming into this one, is in a lot of their first games of the series, they do come out like this. They do come out and smash their opponent. But that's where you got to see the adaptation within the series from IG, and maybe even for JDG as we get a replay of that fight. It is chaotic. It is all over the place. But that trio, that chunk of Yagao, Missing, and Hope, they don't get touched.
And just that final connection from Hope, able to find the damage to take a member. The damage was already done. That was the main thing. He didn't even need to get that kill. And now 369, very tanky, big shield on his head. He's looking for Mole. I think he can just run him down.
Let's get the belly bump there. JDG are coming. You gotta wonder how the communication worked out to leave Mole out on an island all the way up here, but he'll get the entire focus of JDG, and 369 will pick up his second kill.
Yeah, and this Gragas is getting ridiculously tanky at this point. You can see the shield on everyone, but like look at the shield on Hope, and he has not only the Bloodthirster, not only the Mountain Soul, but also the Red Gun as well, severing for the shield. And so IG take this window to get mid tower. They managed to get the objective bounty,
but
this is the cost.
The Baron, I don't know what to say. IG, I mean, hey, they're gonna move in. They're gonna try to do something here. Shun on the backside. Baron, 3,000 health. Yagao does use the Weaver's Wall, and Shun has to be pushed out immediately. Zika's just over there. Hostile takeover across. Shun's trying to dip, dive, and dodge, but he's going to go down. Hope almost goes. He does. A rocket is going to be enough, but On goes down immediately after. Zika trying to get away. Does get the kill on to the missing, at least as the bailout was not enough. And another very chaotic fight, but still JDG coming out on top.
Yeah, Missing ends up using bailout on himself, but probably should have just passed it over to Hope. I think would have gone a long way. Regardless, we do see IG trade some kills there. Not actually too bad for them. They still end up trading down.
It didn't give him vision. It doesn't give him vision because he didn't hit him. Oh my goodness. Oh no. They're all back in. Hey, we're just around a little bit of campfire here, all right? We're just friends among friends.
Man, I mean, it would have been devastating if Zika died that late. The fact he survives pretty massive, but it doesn't really change the state of the game. But IG will take any win they can get, and we'll get the replay. So, you know, it ends up being a bit messy. They want to turn off the Baron. They try to go for Shun, but don't really find him. And I think this is the moment. So Hope starts to take some damage off the Baron. And Missing's very low, but Bailout's there. But the problem is Shun is on top of Hope. Bailout has been used, doesn't have it for the Aphelios. And so we end up seeing Hope go down, and Missing gets chased down regardless. Bot lane kind of messing up a little bit there for JDG, but now they've respawned. They're back looking towards the Baron, and it's on IG to stop it once again.
Weaver's Wall is coming up and available very soon. Moonlight Vigil will not be available just yet, but Yagao pulls the trigger on the Weaver's Wall early. We'll try and use that Everfrost early as well. There's the hostile takeover used, and now it's into the pit for Mole. It's already the Baron very, very low. It goes down to Kanavi. Mole caught out by himself again. The rest of IG are trying to get a capitalization on 369. He's not down just yet. He gets bailed out. He's going back in. He tries to get alive, but he's not going to. On goes excited and gets a kill for IG.
Yagao doing a fantastic job of using his tools. Oh, but using his tools to stop Shun from getting near the pit. They're able to secure the Baron. Yes, they lose one member, but they're happy.
Shun, why are you doing this? Oh,
it's not worth it, bro. It's not worth it,
bro. It's not worth it. SMH.
Yeah, not the best luck. And now it's 1-for-1. 7,000 gold lead for JDG. Soul in hand. They have the Baron as well, and it's Elder in 2 minutes. And I don't think anything has really changed. Like, you look at the item differentials across the board. They haven't reset yet. Post Baron, they're going to be able to buy. You know, I think Kanavi's going to have enough to finish his Randuins. We get IE for Hope. The Crit Cloak as well. Yeah, everyone is getting even scarier at this point. The side of JDG.
That IE completion, while matched by On, I think is still so scary on the Aphelios when you're looking at the comp, when you're looking at, you know, Kanavi's aggression in a lot of these fights, and the Randuin's completion, as you're saying, a lot more tankiness for him to navigate it. And you can see the momentum press up here from JDG is working out wonderfully here. We're just after 27 minutes, 1 minute and 20 seconds for the Elder Dragon to spawn, and then 1.5 minutes still on the Baron. So they can continue to press with this rest of this Baron buff until the Elder spawns and then force the fight.
Absolutely. And if they force heavily around this bot side of the map, don't let IG getting to the jungle and get vision down, it becomes almost impossible to contest the Elder when it does come up. There's a couple of wards still in the jungle because Kanavi's clearing some of them out now. And IG, you still have to worry about your base, about JDG applying this threat on the bot side.
A couple auto attacks and Hope will do some serious torch onto that tower. As we see a couple switches here. We got 3 and 2 at least for JDG. Kind of put some more pressure on the mid lane at the same time. They're moving in for the inhib here. Cast comes through, but there's the Weaver's Wall across the way from Yagao. They're trying to go in. Now it's the tower that is the focus first, though. They do get it. Oh, no. That's already Wild Growth used. Glacial Prison back in. They don't have the tools. They don't have the tools anymore. They're still trying to take a fight, but they're fighting with sticks and stones. And JDG, they brought real weaponry. But On is able to pull something out here, but Hope still untouched. Kanavi under tower. Heartbreaker away. On is trying. He's getting excited, but he can't get the procs. And it's a very, very close contested fight, but JDG just flexing their muscles a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta ask, if the Mountain Soul wasn't there, a lot of low health bars might have been enough to get all the resets, get all the kills. Only Hope really the one who's untouched, and now Elder has spawned. Resets are coming in with the TPs as well. Shun isn't up for 12 seconds. JDG could just rush this. Yeah, they could just rush this, but they might look for the pick instead.
God, do you see how scary it is for IG to walk up? It's like watching a horror movie unfold. You tell her, no, not in the closet. That's where he keeps all his weaponry. But it's just the Elder Dragon going to JDG. And now they can feel very confident to continue pressing up and sieging the base of IG.
I mean, at this point, JDG have everything they need to end the game.
Including a wall of rocks.
They have that too. You know, Baron has timed out, so might struggle with the minion push a little bit, but if they start to connect on anyone, they will decimate them.
Kanavi's looking real sneaky here. Mole, got to get out of there. He's looking to take a 2v1. He has the Heartbreaker. We're getting split fights, though. Kanavi got the kill, the 2v1 on top, and JDG are just ending the game.
Not much IG can do. They cannot fight them here. They can just try and clear the waves, but it's a super minion wave bot, and they're being zoned away.
Not much you can do at this point. Yagao flashing forward. The health bar is oh so low, and the Elder Dragon wings flapping every single time. The towers eventually falling, and the rest of the health bars as well. IG fall whole-handedly to JDG as they come out swinging in game number 1 of this best of 3. 30 minutes in, Elder Dragon and all, and it is the JDG we know and love from Summer 22.
IG just outclassed. Their biggest strength in the jungle, no match for Kanavi in that game.
No match.
And I had some concerns about the composition, the fact that your melee champions on the top side will struggle into what JDG had. Felt like we didn't even get to that point, but in the team fight you could see so hard for them to approach onto this Aphelios, so hard for them to get onto Hope. And with that, Hope did die for IG in that game 1. They still have a chance to bounce back, but JDG showing cool, calm, and collected.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing, we were obviously setting up the jungle matchup very heavily in this one, and Kanavi headed above Shun in this first matchup, but I think that's where you look back to, when we've seen these two guys go head-to-head before, and you wonder how that aggression, where it was at least for Shun, and how he could try to at least work around it. But Kanavi, every time they face each other, even when Shun was trying to find advantages, it just felt like the jungle was leading towards the fact that Kanavi was just ahead. And I wonder the bounce back from IG, but in this case, like, you could see the look on their faces, pretty distraught after that game, because it was very difficult to watch Shun continuously getting caught out in those ways. But it's that turnaround that you're looking for.
Yeah, I think bot lane wasn't a great match. Mole got really shut down by Yagao. Shun, let's be real, got gapped by Kanavi. And then even the top lane matchup, like, Zika wasn't having a fun time. It just felt like they didn't have pressure anyway.
Yeah.
It felt like they didn't really have any momentum. And that's the sort of goal graph where it's just like gradual takeover of the game. No real like dips where JDG lost control at all. And yeah, so I was questioning the draft. I don't even think it was just on a draft though. I think the play just wasn't there. Mole Shun not able to find enough. You saw the idea there. You saw them looking for those early plays, but just struggled really to make it work.
I think that's the roughest thing, but for JDG, hey, they're right on track to try to even up that game differential with V5 there, tied in first place right now. And if they, that, I know it's something small, and I don't think we'll necessarily see the culprit of it if it actually comes to light in this series, but I do wonder if we see a difference in them in trying to close out games holistically and in series holistically, and see if they really step it up in game 2s, game 3s, where we have seen them kind of struggle before. But we do want to see, JDG functioning as a whole, and they did just that with a lot of confidence, right? And it was very present from even the drafting phase when they were just picking picks left and right.
Yeah, I mean, it just feels like they need something to lean on. They need something to find for the side of IG. For JDG, though, I want more of this calm and collected, this sort of refined JDG. I want to see, as you said, less mistakes in the game too. Do it properly. They did manage to recently beat out WE quite convincingly in a 2-0. So keep it on that vein, right? There is such a gap in the standings between JDG and WE, IG. They should be taking this one seriously and just like closing it out. Boom, done, sorted.
We will see how it all works out if IG can find a punch back against the powerful and mighty JDG. We'll take a little break here.